Bedschibaer and Alexander about to be playing for Master Tournament 20. I'm glad that you're watching this on YouTube with me. Should be a good series. The two of them have both surprised in making it this far. Bedschibaer's a fairly long time Pokemon Perfect player, but hasn't had huge amounts of success as of yet. This is his first final. And it's also Alexander's first final, but it's also his first time in playing in a Pokemon Perfect tournament, which is quite a feat in and of itself. Smashing entrance. He's studied under Marco ASD a bit, but has definitely proven himself initially on both the Pokemon Showdown and Pokemon Online ladders and Italian circuit, I guess. I think his first real tournament debut was in Bruins of Earth Premier League on Smogon, where I bought him and then he did great. But Smogon, who cares? Anyway, now for the real important tour, we have the final right here. Notably, Alexander beat GG Fan along the way, and Bedschibaer beat Marco SD, both cases in the semi-finals, which was a surprise. Both the lower seeded players and with weaker backgrounds. Alright, and we're in. Let's watch. Okay. So first we have a Jinx and a Starmie. So typically in this matchup, Starmie can't really do much back to Jinx. Usually it can paralyze it, and that's about it. And try and get a Spectral with it. Whilst Jinx gets to sleep, and then it fires off a Blizzard, threatening Chansey, getting off multiple of these, giving himself decent chances for a freeze that would really shake up the game, and then Lapras is revealed, which can do a reasonable number here. Bedschibaer Psychics there. This should be pretty exciting so far. Okay, so we're seeing Lapras pressure early on this match. It should be pretty interesting. It can be pretty scary to play against because with just that little bit of luck, Lapras can be unstoppable. Anyways, we're seeing a Chansey Freeze War here, but Lapras and Jinx in the wings. This could be quite interesting still. It's by far and away not a pure Freeze War. Fired off several on each end already and nothing frozen yet. 3 frozen on Alexander's end and 3 on Beds, and Beds goes for the Thunder Wave, decides it's time to pressure with Snorlax, bringing that in. So we're likely to see Scout Earthquake there, classic move scouting for the counter, but it can give Executor a nice free switch. And will he Body Slam here? Yes he does. It's predicting the Executor switch in. Some great classic plays here by Beds. Jinx answers this and sleeps yet to be gotten, but he cunningly stays in and takes a huge chunk from a crit drop Psychic in order to get extra damage off on Egg, since going into Jinx is kind of obvious there. But Alexander reveals he is not running Hyper Beam, as that would probably have been the time to have done it, which is very interesting indeed. Alright. It's probably safe to go Jinx here. Snorlax really can't stay in any longer on that. And Psychicking to annoy the Jinx coming in is probably the best option. Although he could go Chansey something to soak the Psychic and try and lure Sleep Powder in for Jinx. But nope, he goes straight to Jinx, which gets a free Blizzard or even a rest off of here. And it rests, and it reveals Egg Bomb, which misses. Terrible. Okay, so... Ooh! Critical hit Egg Bomb. This is a pretty exciting match so far. A very fast pace. Don't have time for that much depth as it happens at this rate. But important things to note is if this Executor can take care of the the Jinx here, then it can get off a sleep powder very easily and put Alexander at a decent advantage. In the meantime, though, and there's a sleep powder on this Executor. So, in effective terms, it's about 5-4 up for Alexander. He's firing off egg bombs here. I'd definitely be very tempted to go Lapras though. Since Jinx doesn't like it, etc. And Chansey comes in on the Lapras, which is, I guess, the main reason not to come in with it. But he does have powered Chansey. So, will we see Snorlax come in straight away? Yes, we do. But he gets us boiled off, letting it function. Further on, he fails to fully paralyze. And we see a self-destruct. Judging from the plays earlier, I think that perhaps he thought that Alexander was preparing a counter at that point. Golem is revealed here. So that suggests that Alexander's not running a Snorlax, probably. Most likely. Otherwise, that would have been very much the turn to have used it. Golem goes straight down. You'd better hope that Bedschibaer doesn't have a Zapdos in the wings, which is definitely possible with that team. Fires off a Hyper Beam, which, judging, you probably had nothing decent to absorb it with. And he goes towards Ditto here. In terms of what they have left, then, there's a Lapras, which can take a non-crit Hyper Beam. As Starmie. Hyper Beam misses there. So he's sacking Egg here? Yeah, it's a little strange to me. Maybe he's trying to get Lapras in. But I'd probably take the Tauros Ditto on a little bit. So that Tauros is in Blizzard range. So that he can then really pressure with it. Should he lose the Ditto. The last Pokemon though. Maybe he can't afford to lose the Ditto in case the last one is Zapdos. In which case, this is a really quite tricky scenario, but yes, perhaps going Lapras there is better. Fire off a Blizzard, then sacrifice Starmie, then go Tauros. Kill the Tauros with that. Try and paralyze the Zapdos if that's what's left. Which, to me, sounds like the right sort of game plan on the assumption that his last is Zapdos, which is potentially the case. And critical hit Hyper Beam destroys Lapras right there. That's virtually game over. Oh, Tauros was in Hyper Beam range already. I hadn't realised that. Must have critical hit. Okay, well that's game then, pretty much. Unless Tommy can one kill, which is possible because it is one fat shit. And the last is Persian, which is interesting. So sacrificing Golem wasn't so faulty. And also the crit on Lapras probably didn't matter quite so much by the sounds of that. Which is really interesting. Okay, so Farron's got a victory there with Bedschibaer. I'll load up the next match as soon as it happens. But whew, that was one very quickly played match. So let's have a little look at their teams. So Bedschibaer is running a Jinx lead physical offense focused type team. It's very aggressive, and I guess I can see that working very well versus the sort of stuff that Alexander's likely to favour. I mean, he's quite well known for being fond of like his electrics and is not so much of a rocks player. Me and him big on our Jolteons. Like he's gone for like a Starmie Lapras Golem build. I'm really not fond of using Golem and no Snorlax, but at the same time some players are quite into that. Alexander didn't strike me as one of those though. Yeah, I think he struggled from the fact he was trying to free his Chansey but didn't really pressure it enough for that. Or didn't take enough risks. And he really should have, if he wasn't going to take those risks, he should have gone for a Thunder Wave instead. Okay, watch battle here. Oof. Yeah, that's probably fair. Has no great loss. thanks to no team preview. Alright, okay, that looks like it's gonna be redone, then I'll put that up when that happens. Alright, what are we looking at in terms of anything else to say in game one? As I would think I was saying that definitely should focus on parrying chance if you're not going to be aggressive enough freezing it. Okay, alright, we're on to game two now though, with Bedschibaer 1-0 up. Alright, good stuff. Starmie versus Alakazam here. Oh, this one is very much up to the tastes of players. Okay, so going executive there is pretty straightforward, and unless you've got like a sing chance, it's not really much counterplay, unless you have non-lead Jinx, which is one of my little specials, but I don't bring it out much these days. Okay, and we see double fast psychics. Starmie versus Snorlax is interesting. You've got Psychic Starmie, which is a thing Alexander is very fond of, which is pretty good for smacking Snorlax, which is really quite light these days. But even still, I'm not sure I'd put in Starmie versus this. I guess it means he probably also has a Jolteon, since you tend not to risk your really fast mon getting powered like that just off the bat. You think that outspeed Tauros in the endgame, and Starmie's such a good mon, it's really worth not getting it powered if your team can afford it. So either he's wanting something a little bit wacky, where Starmie taking power is going to be sort of necessary, or he's got a Jolteon, which is what I think. Okay. The Earthquake Body Slam combo we see again, which Alexander might be able to take use of in time, if he brings a counter Chansey. Oh, wait, no, it was the other way around this time. Ooh, this is going really quickly, but there goes Starmie. Lax is resting, Chansey is powered and weak, Starmie's up. There's a Lapras, which, okay, so this is going to be an interesting team. Thunderbolts, I think, predicting Starmie in there. Woo! Blizzard critical hit is really quite something. I think Body Slam KO's at that range now as well, so Bedschibaer's pressure. I think there goes Snorlax. Lapras's Blizzard, I mean, it can critical hit, it can freeze. There's so much power behind it as well, it's amazing. It's never run Ice Beam on Lapras because the power of Blizzard is just intense. Just you feel strong when you get to fire off a good healthy Blizzard versus a Snorlax. We see Hyper Beam, which is becoming more common. In old meta you never saw that, pretty much never saw that, but now it's sort of a thing. It's quite a thing. I'm not seen this so much recently. It was certainly a time when there was lots of Sing Hyper Beam going around, and we see Sing, as I say. I think that sort of became a little bit popular early SPL. Okay, but this Lapras is just doing work, destroying it. It's just annihilating. I think Alexander's going to get the game back easily at this point. The series back to 1-1 even. I was having to put in Tauros here, which implies it's probably, who knows, but that Tauros is frozen. This is guess you don't even find out what the other mons are. But yeah, that was sort of, Lapras just took that game. Critical hitted Snorlax and froze Tauros, hit Sing versus Starmie. I mean, it's all sort of stuff that requires a little bit of luck here and there, but nothing in and of itself is a bit surprising. So just everything sort of went Alexander's way, and No, he managed to wear down the chance a little earlier as it tried to get power on Snorlax. Plus, it took a bit of a hit from Starmie coming in, which is pretty much one in the game is weakening Starmie, weakening Chansey beforehand, and then pressuring the shit out of him with Lapras. And I think Bedschibaer blizzarding the Lapras. I think over predicting a switch there to Chansey, which is a reasonable thought, but I think he's probably running no Chansey on that even. So it'd be like Jolteon and Tauros will be the remaining two, is my guess. Then Blizzard's very clearly a misplay in that scenario. Thunderbolt would have been better, or Psychic. One of those two. Both of them are very good versus Lapras. Not much to split between them. But yeah, given all that, Lapras just went to town. Alright, well, that's some nice analysis. Let's go to game 3. We're 1-1. And we see two slip leads for the first time in this series, Gengar and Jinx. Different leads, which means a pretty clearly defined thing here. Gengar's probably going to go for the Hypnosis. If Bedschibaer's not going straight for the Sleep with Lovely Kiss, then he's got, to memory, about 2 in 9 chance of KOing Gengar, or was that just for going for the Sleep? I don't remember. I did the calc somewhere, approximately. Okay, classic Jinx egg. Going for the Stun Spore straight off, which is a bit ballsy. Thinking Gar will stay in. Explosion, there's very potential. And Gengar did quite a bit of work there. He's staying in, preventing the explosion. Ooh. That's curious. That kind of stuffed Alexander there. But that Exeggutor is so weak. It's not quite a free switch to Tauros though, because Reflect or Counterbacks at this point is really quite good. For Bedschibaer to have. It's not desperately unlikely he'll have one of those. Although Beds is, I'd say, still a pretty traditional player compared to Alexander. So those might not be around, but I think I'll be honest, I think he's keeping up the meta pretty well though, judging from what I've seen him comment about Reflect everywhere and stuff. Tauros Blizzards to prevent any counter shenanigans. Okay, and then going Chansey here. Kaboom. Beds likes booming his Snorlaxes on Chansey by the looks of things. He's one of the very few players who I know who enjoys running Sweeper Starmie. So, like a Hydro Pump set. So I wonder if we're perhaps going to see that. Chansey in there to dissuade the Tauros. Oof! That did a ton. And he Ice Beam rather than Thunder Waving. I'm not sure totally what he expected there to come in. I mean, nothing wants to take a Thunder Wave at that point if Chansey is already gone. It'll be at best it'll be Alakazam. Free paralysis on Tauros or whatever else which is in that Exeggutor or something. I think Beds was faulty there for not Thunder Waving. I guess Snorlax could have come in. Potentially. I guess that's what he thought. But anyway, now we've got Lax on Beds' end came in. Hyper Beaming, not okay out of that range. Starmie, so this looks like quite another offensive squad. But we're thinking that the last on Beds' end might well be an offensive Starmie. Psychic, I'm not sure, I think that's a low roll, as well as no drop and no crit. But I think that's pretty much a sack. And there's little else it could be at that lower health. Alright, so we see Alakazam instead, which I guess is the other major special sweeper option, and its positive matchup here versus Starmie is coming in handy. Of course, it's Reflect, so it's a case of can Reflect Alakazam win this, which looks pretty unlikely, but in comes a golem. Ooh, with substitute. That's a fun toy for right now, if I dare say. Okay. You could explode here for a free KO, and that would leave Alakazam in Hyper Beam range. Tauros is in Body Slam range, yet let alone Hyper Beam. If he wins the speed tie, he straight up wins. In terms of Tauros, so Tauros is coming out here. I don't know. I think that wasn't effective. But yeah, Beds obviously had to go Tauros there since Zam is Tauros food, which means going Stomach is the best option. But I think that he should have, if he was ballsy enough, he could have gone Tauros again there. But this is interesting. It's sort of pure Stomach versus Alakazam. Sort of whoever wins this wins, but Starmie has much more attacking PP. So if they keep pace with each other in terms of special falls, and nothing gets ridiculous advantage, I lost Alakazam versus Starmie the other day actually as the Starmie, and Alakazam started off sleeping, so it really does depend. But okay. That looked like it really could have been Alexander's game there, but in that end game, Beds just managed to squeeze it back with that Alakazam. I think if Alexander had played ballsier, he could have won it. Okay, so we now see Alexander 2-1 up, no 2-1 down. Beds 2-1 up. Good. Tell I'm a little bit tired, can't you? Yeah, Beds is bringing these very traditional squads, and really seeing everything from the meta game almost from Alexander. Dragonite, I guess, yeah, or stuff like that, or Cloyster. But most of the staples we've already seen, I think. I think we haven't seen a Jinx yet, maybe. Or did he bring that game on? Anyway, yeah, we're seeing much more conservative lead Big Four wildcard from Beds, which I guess and Alexander's going for very varied teams and sets, which is what I know him to be quite like, and I know Beds is quite conservative, and I think is fairly conservative in terms of what he brings, which is sort of just a side effect of how long he's been playing. It's no insult or anything. It's just commentary, and I don't think that it's really a bad choice doing that coming into a series versus a player who you don't really know, which is sort of the case here. These two players don't really know each other too well in terms of battlers anyway. That's from that. Okay, Jinx Ditto. Pretty straightforward. Keep level kissing until one of them hits. It's kind of Seismic Toss, that's a rare option. It's rest and counter is so effective. We're in a bad state for Alexander, but I guess Seismic Toss is a pretty cool option actually for Jinx Ditters if you win it. How you can brush your stuff, but I need to take out this Jinx ASAP in order to not let it go 3 for 1, which is pretty much what it's done. Jinx has been Jinx at its finest. But a well played Confuse Ray, and then Blizzard misses, Thunderbolt goes through Confuse Ray. This is a horrid start. Horrid, terrible start for Alexander. It's not going his way, and this could very much be the end of the series, but he gets the Spec drop, which due to mechanics, love RBY, makes it slower, which he needed. He needed a crit or a drop there. Okay, but this is, it feels like it's almost over, and it's only just begun. And he needs to get that sleep. He could just explode at this point. No, and he's got a pressure. He's pretty much got to go 2 versus 5. It's not happening. He's got Sleeping Jinx, which is unlikely to really be helpful. Parrot, Frozen Chansey, Gone Lapras, Eggs so weak it probably can't do much. Snorlax really needs to take out a chunk here, which would mean like crits and crazy shit. But okay, self-destructing, it's Tauros or nothing time. It really is. But Beds probably does have the tools to consistently handle this. And he goes for a Blizzard and it freezes. You're never out in this game. You're never out in this game. Okay, and he's actually got stuff to switch into this. Just about. His remaining stuff is quite anti-executor, which is kind of kind. But no. Let's see what happens here. It becomes a lot of quote-unquote 50-50s. They're not really 50-50s. It's more complex than that, but it's sort of 50-50s. When is the Tauros going to come in? Okay, and now he can sort of sack Chansey, and then he needs to absolutely destroy it in the Ditto. We'll find out what its last is, but if it's a fast Psychic, which it very well could be, if its last is a fast Psychic, then things are going to get tumultuous. But it's certainly possible for Bits to lose this still if Tauros really goes to plan. But I'm tempted to say just a ballsy Hyper Beam there might have been a good idea. And Jinx finally wakes up. Jinx finally wakes up and he can fire off Blizzards. He can take out the Alakazam, and then he just needs to win the Tauros Ditto. And oh no. Okay, Sleep Powder, you're gonna explode here. Let's be honest, you're gonna explode there. Or Sleep Powder. Unless he doesn't have Explosion. But yeah, I sort of see this coming down to how does the Tauros Ditto go down, and can Egg be thwarted in one? It's a case of working out what's the best odds as well. Is going to be painful. But actually, I understand why he's done what he's done. It's a little bit funky, but he's basically forcing him to go to the Tauros Ditto first. So you've got the raw 50-50 there, and then you can do whatever best for taking out Executor, however that turns out. But no, he goes for an Explosion. Okay, so Executor comes in first, which is, I don't think what he wanted from how he was playing, but I think he was worried about Alakazam waking up, and that was a fair worry. But I think he hit the panic button and misplayed because of it. He goes for the Hyper Beam, fails to critical hit. Tauros doesn't wake up. Okay, it dies to the next move. Oh, that was a bit of a hacks fest, but it very nearly came out. Once Lax was frozen, there was a real sense there. But alright, well, thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. It was a very exciting and fast series. Quite different from the usual sort of pace, really. I mean, in a casual match, this is what happens, but in a tournament, it tends to be players tend to take more time to think and calmer about it. But that was definitely an interesting series. Basically a case of the more conservative player versus the much more outlandish, and seeing how that played out. And whilst there was quite a bit of heavy luck at the end, I felt that it was a very well balanced series overall, although it was sort of like early game. I felt that whoever sort of had the momentum early game could sort of pull it through to the late game in most cases. Except that game 3 just didn't quite go Alexander's way, where it really could have been his. That's sort of how I feel about it. Well, I hope you've had a wonderful time, enjoyed watching this. Come check us out. Come play on the forums. You know, you could be in the next video. You Skype call me, or even better, be the battler. You know, set your ambitions high. No one saw these two players making it to the finals. Okay, I saw Alexander making it to the finals, but don't tell anyone. Don't tell anyone about that. But yeah, it's RBY. It's all to play for. It's really good fun. So yeah, come visit us on Pokemon Perfect. We'll see you next time around. We might have some post-match analysis from Beds if we're lucky on this one. But yeah, that was an interesting series, and see you around.